left on this Tuesday evening. It's about 6 o'clock local. And we're going for some transmog to fit this amazing crown that I've got. The set that I have in mind is mostly the Lightforge recolor. But there are a couple of parts that are the heroism replica. So we're just gonna make our way through here. We're also keeping our eye out for the Purple Judgment set, Umberferin or Hungerferin. Hungerfin. I'm adding extra syllables and everything today. He drops the Cassock of the Loyal, which is that's the pants, or the skirt in this case, for the Purple Judgment set. It's a nifty set. I don't know how well it'll go with the crown. It is a set that I usually pick up for my paladins. Of which I have 4, I think. Only 2 or 3 of them are of level to be able to use it. So let's see if we get the Cassock of the Loyal. Drop our consecration and watch everything run into it and die. Starlight Gauntlets, etc., etc. Yeah, no, we just got 2 sets of Starlight Gauntlets. That's great. We did get some stuff we can sell. And I am, as I'm going along here, I am getting rid of a lot of the, what's it called? Getting some motes of life here. We do want those, and we're getting some other things. We are going to harvest these guys. Why did I get stunned? That was weird. But we are getting rid of all these things like Zanger caps and some of these extra things we're not going to hang on to because it could take a little bit to get these drops. What I'm going to try to do is go until it keeps me from re-entering, not from resetting, but from re-entering the instance. It'll eventually say, you've entered too many instances in the last hour, because otherwise you could probably, in some dungeons, run just start to finish, grab up all the bosses and kill them in one hit. Not that that isn't awesome. It's just not how the devs want you doing things, so they've made it difficult. And that's fair enough. We don't actually have to kill this second boss. I don't think he drops anything we want. Oh, I've just gone right past him. Have I? Wait, hold on. Oh no, I haven't. I'm still on the way. Let's kill these guys real quick. Get some jackal clams, which are decent. Now there's my messenger pinging at me. We'll wait right here. Let's just go ahead and fix something here. There we go. We got all these items. So we're not keeping any of these gray items and whatnot. What I really need to do for these transmog runs is start bringing a vendor bot or something like that. I think I can buy something like that off the auction house at this point. I don't remember, but I imagine I can. And where's the boss? Okay, he's right there. He is going to go... Oh, he may... I don't think he despawns. But he's not really important. We don't really get anything extra for... We don't get anything extra really for killing him that helps us anyway. Disfigured. That's nice. I'm going to decline for now. Not because I don't want to. Oh, see, there's the boss making his way up to the thing. So we're just going to ignore that boss. I don't think he drops anything. Oh, hi. Active players. It could be fun. But, so he drops Girdle of Gallantry. which looks like that. He drops the Cloak of Healing Rays, which looks like that. And the Hatebringer, which is a two-hand like that. And we are probably not going to use any of those. The main thing that we're concerned with is Swamp Lord something. And he's going to give us the... what is it? The shoulders that we need out of here. We've already got the belt that we need out of this dungeon. And then I'll be moving on to some other things. And we'll draw transformation. We're going to die. And hey, we got the Toothbearer shoulder guards. You'll see what I mean here when I say that I think they'll match the style of the crown. Here they are. It matches pretty decently well. It's not a perfect match, but it fits. And once we have more of this set, I think it'll be pretty decent. It's not the same color of gold, obviously, as the shoulder guards, but that'll be alright. So the nice thing is now that they're learnt by our transmog, we don't have to actually keep them. We're going to keep clearing out our inventory here. So what we need out of here now is the Cassock of the Loyal. But I can always get that another time. Since we're going for the Lightforge stuff, we're just going to boop him right there. And we got the Pauldrons of Brute Force, which look like that. Hooray. We got two of them, too. So, next we're going to be off to... Actually, let me check before I go running off. We already have the light-touched breastplate, I think. Let's see. It's got a dash. Chest. Yep, we have got. And you can start seeing this coming together. And I think I am going to use a Stormwind Tabard or something like that on here. We want the Gloves of Heroism. Let's go ahead and let's see. They're pretty close. They're actually not quite a match. They are a slightly different blue, so I think we are going to go with the... I think we have the Azure Plate Greaves. Let's double check. Ah, okay, so they have the same appearance as this. Yeah, and notice how that's a very different color. We're also looking at the Studded Girdle of Virtue, spelled with a V. Huh. Oh, okay, I didn't have collected on. There's a Studded Girdle of Virtue. We're looking for the Faithbearer's Gauntlets. There's those. It's interesting that that's even a mismatch for the top there. And then the boots is those. That actually works decently. You can ignore the those two. Let's say, let's go for replica boots of heroism. I think the heroism works better, honestly. But I like that. And the chest plate. Yeah, no, I think. Let's see. So I think that the boots. Let's see. The boots are. Alright, we can't get the brutal gladiators, so let's go with. No, not the truth brewers. The light touched chest plate and the there and this girdle. And then with the tabard over top of it, it'll actually cover these bits. And it'll actually fit very nicely. Yeah, I think that's what we're going for. And then, oh boy. Let's go with one-handed swords. It's the... Well, I don't see it in here. But yes, it will work in the end. But we want the azure plate greaves, which means we need those from... They drop from the slave pens, which is actually right down the hallway here. And we'll see who it drops. Oh, it drops from Quagmaran. Oop. In the middle here we have Serpentine Cavern. Or not Serpentine Caverns, but the raid. Yeah, Serpentine Cavern. We're not concerned with that right now. There's some gear that drops in there, but we're not going to use those. So the slave pens, I believe, are this furthest one. The steam vaults are the ones in the middle, next to the raid. But I believe this is the slave pens. All this, including the raid, is part of the Coilfang Reservoir area. Yep, slave pens entrance. Alright, here we go. So, Quagmaran, he is all the way at the end. So the piece that we want is off the last boss. We are basically just going to beeline it to him. I don't think there's anything that physically prevents us from proceeding other than there might be a little puzzle thing. On the other hand, that might be the steam vaults that I'm thinking of. Yeah, the steam vaults is what keeps you from actually progressing. But, let's see, if I click on myself, I won't kill these guys too early. These guys will probably end up following me a fair ways. They might eventually turn back. And who we're going for first, we're just going to beeline across this area. And we're going to go straight for Menu the Betrayer. Because I don't think we can get to all these others. Because that big bit in the way there. I think there's actually something that actively prevents us. If not, then I'll just go right past that. But I'm pretty sure that there is. There's Rockmar. But I want to say that there's an impassable something here. There might not be, though. And if there's not, then we'll just skip right past to the end. Ah, okay, I see. There is no way up. It looks like further back that you could get up there, but there is literally no way to do that. Otherwise, people would skip that, wouldn't they? Alright. And we're just going to keep rolling on through here. You still got these couple of guys following us. I don't know if they're the ones from the beginning or not, but... Got menu. Drop our concentration and watch things die. Hey, we got a couple of belts. What do we got here? Oh, he drops the Spellfire Longsword. That's the one I was trying to think of. That's one I want. Right there. The phosphorescent blade is neat, but it's too dang bright. And these are, of course, our leg plates. Alright, continuing on. Get rid of stuff we don't need. Unfortunately, this one's a little bit longer to get through. The Underbog is pretty quick. It's just a nice little circuit. This one you have to zigzag back and forth through, making it kind of annoying. The good news is we have already got the... Well, we can... I think we can straight up buy the... Well, we're going to have to buy the Gloves of Heroism and the boots. We've already got the chest plate, we've already got the shoulders, we already got the girdle. We don't need bracers, I don't believe. And I'm just going the wrong way. We don't need the bracers, I believe. I think that the chest plate covers that up. But if it becomes necessary, we can always get something similar. And we will ignore Rockmar unless he's over here. Because he does not drop anything, I don't think, that we're after. He's got the Girdle of Many Blessings. Oh, we do want that for the... Just in case he drops it. The Girdle of Many Blessings is the purple Judgment set recolor.
It's too far away.
Man, we're just gonna... Oh, we did not get it. Surprise, surprise. We'll just keep hitting him up every time. We can go back for the Cassock of the Loyal, but I'll probably do that off stream. And now it's a quick jaunt to the end boss. I don't remember if I've got to talk to someone up here first, or if I can just wade in there and hit him. Oh, Quagmaron is just right down in there. But we're going to go ahead and talk to these people to try to prompt him to come out. Alright, those guys are dead. Talk to the naturalist.
Go in peace.
Yep, there we go. Not coming out yet. Guess I have to talk to him after that. It's been a minute since I've done these.
Ishnuala.
Alright. Okay, you're all dead. Gonna come on out. Or I have have to... Oh, there he goes. Alright, so you just gotta walk up to him, I guess. And there is not a quick way back out, which is annoying to no end, because the other ones have it. Actually, I think I might be able to duck out. Nope. Got boots of blasphemy. Those don't do anything for me. Alright. Can he teleport us out is the question. Would be nice.
Peace be with you.
Nope, we could only grant us a spoon. And I'm going to have to run all the way back out. This is why I don't like farming this one. Let me just double check real quick and see if there's a quick way out. Alright, so there is no end dungeon exit for this. Cliffside, drop you off on the way out, like halfway through the dungeon. Oh, okay, yeah, so we do have to run halfway back. Yeah, so not all the way, it's just, you know, that is super annoying. Does mean this is going to take even longer, and it's not a great choice to stream. But hey, you know, so we can just drop off and run across there. But it annoys a little bit that there isn't a quicker way back. And I realize that that's kind of a big ask at this point, but because they would have to create a one-way thing. I mean, really all you need is a teleporter or something, and you could even, you know, gnomify it or something. Where, hey, we've got a teleporter to the entrance for some reason. They can retcon something. They've done that sort of thing before. And hopefully we'll get something here soon. Oh goodness, sorry, I'm yawning here. I am a little bit tired. I woke up like 3 or 4 times in the night last night. No clue why. I think it was either the neighbors returning home late from work, or later on, about 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, was probably the birds starting to sing in the morning, and they start pretty early. And for whatever reason, that's a sound that just wakes me right up. Don't dislike the sound, apart from that. Well, we got some more people angry at me. And that profits us nothing. It used to be that shamans required fish scales and oil to do stuff, but not at this point. Alright. And I'll reset and head back in. And here we go. Alright. Try to get through this quick. Or as quick as I can, given a slow speed. One thing I miss, and this is actually on a hunter, but I miss old aspect of the pack. Because unless something actually hit you, if things kept missing, you could just charge right through here with Aspect of the Pack, the old form. Now, it's just a quick temporary movement speed buff with no downside, as opposed to a constant movement speed buff with a big downside. And I'm not really sure what prompted the change, but at some point they took that away. When they sectioned some of the things up into the different specs and took a lot of archetypal stuff away from the classes as a whole, it was rather irritating. We're just going to mine this because it's right here. It's not worth much, but it's something. Oh, maybe worth more than I thought. We'll see what it sells for. An item being worth something doesn't mean anything unless it'll actually sell for that. Well, that's not quite true. Some things are worth more and sell for very little.
Don't make me kill you. Deserve this.
There's skilled leggings. Yeah. Nothing we can wear though. Those guys are just gonna, yep, patrol right into it. And I may only go for an hour tonight. That'll be the point at which things cut off and won't let me re-enter instances. Although this one does take longer. When I was doing the, what's it called? Hellfire Ramparts. Not on stream, but doing some playing on my own. It was pretty apparent with how short it was that it could complete circuits could be made in well less than an hour. And by complete circuits, I mean running it until it would get locked out temporarily. Basically, you get locked out until 1 hour from your previous. 1 hour from your previous, I don't know. Okay, he's still on the retreat. We're not going to bother with that right now. We're just going to keep moving to Quagmyrod. Oh man, I am yawning a bunch. Oh nice, we got a two-handed axe. Oh, it's an eagle looking thing. That's something someone will buy. Alright. And we're almost there. Yeah, I'm going to ignore Naturalist Bite. Quagmyrod will probably just kind of sit there. Oh, no, he does start going as soon as you get over here. Alright, so we are going to... And he did. We're now friendly with Cenarian Expedition. We got the breastplate of Righteous Fury, though, which is another appearance set. This trinket. It's a thing. Alright, so that's that. And we're just going to charge back to the entrance as much as we can do so. So that was an item, but not the one we're looking for. We're looking for those pants. The Azure Plate Greaves. Azure Plate being one word, Greaves being the other. And I somehow didn't loot these. I'll do that now. That's too bad. It's too bad Rockmar is pathing away there. Otherwise, we could slap him as he comes. Oh, hey, he's just right here. Well, guess what we're gonna do? All right, we got the 12-fang needler again. Excuse me, goodness. And a skeletal necklace of battle rage. Hooray. But one thing I've been tossing around doing, as far as other games go, is Final Fantasy XIV has a new expansion coming out at some point. Let's see, it's called Shadowbringers. And it's coming out, let's see, when is this? The 2nd of July. And I will probably do that. I think what I may do is check out some of the things. We'll get some in-game items. I know they say never pre-order, but it'll be interesting. They've been pushing towards the idea that light and dark are not necessarily equivalent to good and evil. So we'll see how things go. There are some new classes coming out. There are some changes to existing classes. My concern is that they're oversimplifying what exists, because they've already done the thing where you don't have to actually level separate jobs to get the combo jobs. And that irritates me because there was a... Yeah, it was... Oh, what? That's the first time I've been feared by them in a minute. Just got a couple more small items here. I'm getting distracted by a game I'm not even playing. It's bad. But it does look interesting. So I will probably give that a shot. Alright, reset. I'll have to work that into my existing streaming schedule somehow. The reason for that is I do want to revisit the game, but there hasn't really been much to draw me in. The last one to really draw me in was Heavensward, and that was a lot of fun. But then Stormblood didn't really pull me in as much. I kind of went to max level, and that was that. I think I did a little bit of gearing, but I don't remember doing a whole ton with that. Heavensward had some really cool boss fights, and we'll see some of that. Doubtless, there will be some more, but we'll see. It looks like they're adding some new things, like new areas, of course. There's 4 new areas, 2 new cities. Two new trials, new tribes, the pixies, the Numo, and the dwarves, which is actually interesting. And there's an aetheryte earring, which increases XP by 30%. Gives you early access to Shadowbringers and gives you a baby gremlin minion. So really nothing actually important. Nothing actually worthwhile. Which is about par for the course for pre-orders. On the flip side, early access to, and this isn't early access in the sense that Steam means it. Early access to Shadowbringers basically just means you'll be able to access it before.
Don't make me kill you.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Deserve this.
Basically, it just means you get access to it before July 2nd, which I may do. Princely Rain leggings. I like that dagger, but I can't use daggers, of course, because I'm a paladin. There we go. I have a character in Final Fantasy, but I'll have to double check my install. I don't remember if I still have the game installed. It's been a long time since I've played it. But I have a couple characters. I don't know that there is an EU. I think there is an EU realm. I don't think I could transfer my. I think I might be able to transfer my character over to it, but that'll be an interesting thing to take a look at. And I have some characters that I haven't really done a whole lot with. They still probably need leveled, but yeah, if I do end up leveling, not a new character, but leveling a character, it's entirely possible I might do one of the new. I might make an entirely new character and level them as the what's it called? I might very well level them one of the new classes. We're just gonna, he's right here. He's coming towards us. Well, he was. Wave Fury Boots. Nothing. We got a U Wand of the Aurora. It's just a little stick. It's fine. And of course the Coilfang Needler. Zanger Trout, get rid of that. Messenger's beeping at me. Let's go ahead and drop this. What do we get? Alright, we got Starfire trousers. Got a scroll of stamina. That's going to get chucked out. Zanger Trout's going to get chucked. They are edibles, but they are not fish in the same sense. I mean, they're fish, clearly. But they're not fish in the sense that you can use them in cooking. They're not cooking ingredients. Which is disappointing, but that's how it is. What is going on in Messenger? I'm going to go ahead and mute this here. Alright. Quagmiron's on his way to meet us. That'll kill them off. And this'll kill him off. Mana Etched Spalders! Hooray! They're a caster type item. Get everything except for these pants. When I got pants, but they're not, pants I can use. And time for another reset. But enough about Final Fantasy. There are some cool things coming to 8.2 for WoW. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't mark him as dead, despite him having actually died. In 8.2, we've got 2 new zones coming. Apparently, there are not going to be world quests in those new zones, which is kind of odd, but hey, they're going to do their own thing. There are going to be repeatable quests, so we might be seeing a return to more Burning Crusade levels of quest grindiness, which I really hope not. They're saying that the story mission is going to be rep gated instead of time gated, which, if we're really honest about it, rep gating is time gating, although not in the same way, because there is a certain amount of rep you need. It takes a certain amount of time to gain that rep. Unless they mean that if you play through everything and do all the quests, you won't be gated at all and you'll just be able to tear through it, which would be neat. But I somehow doubt that they would allow that, because one of the staples is keeping people playing by artificially padding the gameplay with stuff like that. And every MMO does this. Every single one. But there are some cool things, like a new vehicle coming where blacksmiths make the chassis and the engineers make another bit, and they can put it together for a new mount. There's also mount equipment that's coming. Say goodbye to your... Well, if you have a water strider, it's great for you, because your water strider automatically gets that mount equipment. Or rather, you have mount equipment that affects all your mounts. So literally every mount will be able to water walk, which I don't like. Every mount will be able to do whatever thing it is the mount equipment allows them to do. And this is kind of, and I know some people don't see it this way, but this is kind of a slap in the face of people who have worked hard and ground out the rep necessary to get that. You'll be able to get it cheaper, or additional copies of it cheaper, if you have the rep. However, getting it initially is much reduced. And I really don't like that, because and what they're trying to do is, I think, largely level the playing field for people who are newer players, or who are on, for instance, a new account. And while it's great and all, making people feel like they're not missing out on capabilities or content because they haven't been playing for longer, things like water walking for your mounts, that isn't something that should just be freely handed out the way they seem to be determined to do. On the flip side, it is going to be really nice to have, because I thought they had some cool things in place already. Engineers could make little swifty boat things, and there was ways around it already. And this kind of devalue, having this mount equipment is going to devalue the stuff that the engineers can make, unless they change those up or make them available, or make reduce the costs of them. You know, it again takes away from a profession, something that makes it unique and usable. So I have my quibbles with it. And I don't understand why they would decide to do that. Although they have typically put engineers kind of on the back burner a fair bit. Not always, and not to the same degree as other ones, but gathering professions kind of get shafted at the moment, because all you can do is gather. You don't get any bonus from it. You just gather. That's it. It used to be that gathering professions would give you a bonus to some other things, and I think that would be cool. Or at the very least, I don't know, raise the vendor price of the gatherable materials.
You brought this on yourselves.
Alright, I got the key. Hey, I got the Spellfire Longsword. Well, we got something cool out of this. Look at that. We got a lightsaber now. And it is, if you look at it, it is actually it's not like it's a sword with a blade thing there. You could actually see the little emitter dealy. It is very, very much a lightsaber. I'm not going to complain about that. We're getting kind of full on our stuff, and that's with dropping out all these gray items. And we're going to have a fair number of things to to sell here as well. This ring is going to go away because people are very likely not going to be interested in buying that sort of thing because it is not a max level item. Now, something that it would be useful is, say, if it is an item that is equipable at level 58, then that would be worthwhile. For instance, and I don't remember how the stat squish exactly has affected these items, but a level 58 item from Burning Crusade is better than a lot of level 60 items from vanilla. And that angered a lot of people, understandably so. Because you might, and this is one of the common complaints, is that you might find yourself swapping out your epics from raids for greens because there was that much greater stuff. And I think they've since made it much more reasonable where if you're raid equipped, you can level if you're, you have a good amount of raid gear, you can level well into the next expansion without having to replace your gear. And honestly, I think that's a very smart way to do it. The reason there being you're letting people keep their slightly more powerful than the norm stuff. You're not making them feel like going into new content will essentially weaken them. Now that does kind of happen at max level briefly before you actually start getting gear, but past a certain point, I want to say it was something like 345-ish, I actually started feeling like I was a max level character in this. And some of that was due to getting the correct Azurite traits, which in the past it wasn't traits, it was whatever thing it was for that expansion. So what they've done is interesting, this expansion. It's not super great because you have to actually get very specific pieces of gear to optimize. And that to me is a little bit, it's a little bit frustrating.
I need to get closer.
Get you, give me my pants. No, another breastplate of righteous fury. Oh, I'm gonna have some righteous fury here in a minute if they don't give me my freaking pants. That's all I want, and then I'll be able to go buy the other two things and get a... I can't get a Stormwind, I can't get a Stormwind tabard because I'm Horde. I played so much of my Hunter that I kind of forget. My Hunter is a dwarf. So, yeah, clearly. I think it would have been cool if they'd given the Horde a dwarfy faction, where that would confuse the crap out of some players in PvP. I think that would be neat. Because you can still always see the name of a player, the what color it is and whatnot. But I think that they didn't want to confuse people too much. Vindicator belt of the Aurora. It's decent. Sort of. The Aurora stuff is versatility because that had, I want to say, spirit on it back in the day. Classic WoW is also coming out in a while, and that should be interesting. But yeah, back to the 8.2 stuff. The Mega Dungeon is not coming out with the patch. That's going to be some upcoming Tuesday that it's going to come up. I kind of wish there was some in-dungeon mount that you could use in older content. If you were, say, if you're max level, if there was some... Well, here we go. Here's a reason for me to like mount equipment. Say they gave you a piece of equipment that would allow a mount to be used in dungeons. I don't know how that would be programmed. Probably wouldn't work because they may just have it zoned for mounts can't be used here. And perhaps that equipment would just allow mounts to be used. Oh, ooh, service animal what is it? It would be service animal or emotional support animal certification. There you go. Then you could use your mount wherever. Service animal might be a little bit disingenuous to people who actually need them, but emotional support animal, yeah. There are people that legitimately do need. Oh, that's a cool looking axe. Look at that. I might not sell that one, although that mace can go away. These shoulders are not bad. Those might actually work. There's that eagle axe. That's that same mace. And we're going to reset again. So we're coming up on 1 hour. If I don't get anything this run, I'll probably go do world quests real quick. I want to say, let's see. Let's see what we got for world quests today. Alright, it's the Voldenai. We don't really need it, but it is a weapon cache. It is 385. And that could give me something good. We got a 370. Oh, Cursed Captain's Charm. That is actually potentially really good. I think we might go for that because we have a 365 and a 385. That 370 might be handy to have. What is that? Cursed Captain's Charm. Yep. So we'll load that there. As for rep right now, we are revered on everybody except for the Champions of Azeroth. Champions of Azeroth is not going to take too long, but I think I'm going to need to start actually doing all of them. So we're going to mark those as well. And then we'll do this last run and then do that. So we got Tortolan Seekers we don't need to do any more of. I mean, we could. We'll get exalted with them, but that'll happen in time. We're going to mark all of the Champions of Azeroth ones. It's got 13 hours left. The reason being we want to actually get our rep for them up. We get 125 or 175, I think, which is really good. Azerite Madness there. Harbor Master's Face Guard. Azerite Empowerment. There's those. See, there's the Naga attack, which we could go do first. I think what we'll probably do is just skip it entirely. There's make Lua go. So we got Tortolan Seekers yesterday, or I did off camera, and we're not really concerned about that. Honor Bound, of course, we're exalted with. The next one that I'm excited about getting exalted with is the Zandalari Empire, because then I can make a Zandalari Troll. And I will stream the... I will stream that quest. Just as one of my daily things. But yeah, after this, if we don't get anything, we're going to go ahead and do that set of world quests so that I can knock that out. The nice thing is I'll be able to Hearthstone out of here. I'll probably do my Dalaran Hearthstone so I can go from there to Orgrimmar, and then from Orgrimmar I can take the portal. And while I could go to Zuldazar and then take the portal from there, if I do it this way, I'll be able to sell off all this equipment without having to go back and forth. Honestly, it probably doesn't matter. I could go to Zuldazar via the Hearthstone. Then I could go to Orgrimmar via the portal. and then back via the portal. Actually, that might prove to be quicker. Who is shoot? Oh, he's running away now. Better. The Eternium lockboxes are interesting. Requires lockpicking. That's a rogue thing. Here's another reason for me to level a rogue. Because sometimes these lockboxes can have okay stuff. At least stuff to sell for transmog or whatnot.
Don't make me kill you. Deserve this.
Princely Rain leggings. We got 2 sets of those. We got a set of those already. Now we got 2 more sets. Hooray. Getting a lot of Cenarian Expedition rep. That is one thing that they did in Burning Crusade, was they included rep for the factions as dungeon rep. And one of the reasons I really liked that format, granted the world quests were, you know, important, but I do like the world quest format of earning extra rep. It feels less grindy somehow, but it is pretty severely time gated, and that is again one of the things that I do not like about their new way of doing things. Is everything is time gated behind different stuff. Flying is time gated in a way that's completely beyond our control. We have to wait for them to introduce it, and while I understand, for instance, the way that they did it in Northrend, while I understand the way that they did it, ooh, wrong way. While I understand that they did it in a specific way in Pandaria, Cataclysm they introduced, was it Cataclysm they introduced flying in those zones? Anyway, the way they did it for some other stuff does make sense. However, the big stickler for me is that there isn't any explanation given as to why we can't fly. There's plenty of flight masters, right? And all of their people can fly, but I sincerely doubt that all of them have earned exalted or have earned revered reputation and gone to the 2 new zones that we have to go to and gotten revered status with those factions. You see what I mean? If the flight masters can fly, there ought to be some way for us to, at some point through the progression of leveling, to actually get that. I don't like the Pathfinder achievements. I didn't like it in Draenor, and I certainly don't like it now. In Draenor it was horrible. In Legion, in Legion, I can understand that, like some sort of anti-fel corrosion shield or something. Let's call it that. Let's say that there's this that for whatever reason the Legion is shooting down everything that flies outside of people that have this particular shield or whatnot, and the flight masters of course have it, and we did not get the pants. So we're gonna go do our world quest here. So it would have been very easy to write that in and say, hey, you know, you have to earn a certain rep with these factions, and then from them you can purchase this piece of equipment, which is more or less what they did in Pandaria Legion, and I want to say in Cataclysm, which I didn't really understand that then, but it would have been nice to actually have their be a reason that we can't fly, as opposed to just, well, you can't, so deal with it. Legion, there could have been a believable reason had they said, hey, you can't because the Legion is shooting everything down, and boy, golly gee, to get your ability to fly, to get this special piece of equipment, you're going to have to impress the heck out of these other factions. That would have made sense. That would have been an understandable, reasonable approach to limiting flying. In this, you could say, And I'm struggling to think of something for Battle for Azeroth that would inhibit your flying other than the Loa don't like it. And you have to prove yourself to the Loa before you can fly in our lands or some crap like that. And then in... oh, that's not what I wanted to do. And maybe for the Horde to be, I don't know, because the Drust are causing all kinds of problems in Drustvar, or the storms. You're going to get hit by lightning and stuff like that. And you have to get a specialized piece of equipment or a specialized thing. So I think the time to introduce mount equipment. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Well, it only sold for about half of what I was hoping, but there we go. There it is. 38,000 gold. Yep. Thank you. Then we got 90k. I think I was trying to sell it for a bit more, but I think the price dropped on it. Or the value or whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and appraise some more stuff. Now these aren't going to sell for nearly as much. That was a very special item. Again, it was probably only worth it for the appearance. I probably could have held out and sold it for more. But I'm not too particular about getting the gold. I would like to at some point get the 10 million gold mount, but that's highly unlikely given my tendency to not play as much. So get those, get that. Alright, and we will refresh. So I'm not really happy about the Pathfinder achievements. I think they're a cool thing. I think that there could be a bonus to, well, like they did in Pandaria. Once you got to a certain point, you could buy a thing and it would boost the rep. It would allow you to boost rep with the factions on your alts. That was a good way of doing things. You could say have a thing, which they do have now, that you buy that you unlock flight points with it instead of having to go around and do the quests with all your alts. You could have the Pathfinder achievement show where all the treasures were, or increase, well, not increase the likelihood of getting certain loot, or you could have a special mount that you get at the end of the Pathfinder achievement, rather than it being something mandatory for flying, because flying for leveling alts is pretty freaking important, and it used to be. I mean, not in vanilla WoW, but ever since Burning Crusade for, what was it, three expansions after that? See, Burning Crusade, Lich King, Cataclysm, and Pandaria. For 4 of them after that, you could literally just complete a small quest faction rep thing and then purchase the ability to fly. And Pandaria, it's the mists. You have to get some special thing so that you know how to pilot in this air because it's different. That makes sense. I just have a lot of quibbles with it. So, plus, if you don't play all the time and you don't grind out that rep, you are severely penalized. In other words, you're penalized for not playing as much as the developers want you to play. And it's weird that they would lock flying, of all things, behind that, because there's a ton more stuff that you can do that doesn't require you to make an enormous time commitment. And yet they lock flying behind, and it only takes a couple or 3 weeks. It doesn't take that long. And I understand that they don't want you to hit max level, go buy the thing, and then, run around. We're going to open these.
Used that item yet.
We'll just go ahead and open these. We're just going to get some clam meat. Probably the clam meat is not going to be worth as much as these clams unopened. Hey, there's a pearl. 1 pearl out of a full stack, huh? 2 pearls out of a stack and a half. Those don't sell for very much. So what it's going to do when it gets to those, yeah, it's going to go, oh, we didn't find these. All right, so let's go ahead and, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's going to continue those. Combustion dagger of the aura. All right, so let's go 40, 35, post. And let's go ahead and refresh this on the pearls and the, yeah. All right. I do need to get rid of this because it doesn't do any good for me. Pauldrons of Resin's Blade Guard. I think I was hanging on to those because they might actually be some good. My reasoning behind that. There we go. My reasoning behind that is we'll go ahead and pull the Mr. Robot stats here. We're going to import from add-on or on that. And it's going to say, hey, Pauldrons of Resin's Blade Guard. Those are going to be $3.90. That's going to be, yeah, see, it's trying to get me to pick some weird stuff. It doesn't increase my... What? Why is it telling me I have a... Oh, okay, I see. My Heart of Azeroth is at item level 400, and then it doesn't recognize it because I haven't done that equipment. So... It's interesting, but it's telling me my Bone Fetish shoulder plates should stay on my rep version. Let's go ahead and re-optimize in favor of the Retribution. And it's going to tell me Crown of Bloody Succession, but it's not going to tell me to equip Resin's Blaze Guard, so let's go ahead and, yeah, Pauldrons of Resin's Blaze Guard. You know, I might, but here's the thing. If I equip these shoulders, right? Or are they these? All right. I keep closing out, not Messenger itself, but some. Oh, okay, hold on. I gotta reply to this.
I got what you need.
Right. So here's the deal with these, right? We could take Inner Light. We could take Indomitable Justice. We could take Judicious Defense. From what I understand, let's see. All 3 of Indomitable Justice. Yeah, let's see. Indomitable Justice, Inner Light. Yeah, Inner Light's not even on there. Yeah, Inner Light is a C tier. Indomitable Justice is B tier. And Judicious Defense is C tier. So those are all B and C tier traits. You get into the middle here and you got what is it? Righteous Conviction and Incite the Pack. Righteous Conviction is A tier, which is good. And we have an A tier or an S tier 3rd ring for DPS. But here's what we would lose. See, that would be a good gain, and we could take life speed and resounding protection and be fine. However, I don't think I'm going to do that because what we've got right now is Bulwark of Light, which we kind of, that gives us our 3rd. Oh, you know what? Actually, we could switch this out. But we'd lose Blood Right, which is actually really good for killing a bunch of mobs at once. You'll notice that when I'm killing a bunch of mobs in a world quest, I will have this buff up virtually perpetually. Azurite Veins is also really good. So we would lose a couple good things.
Come back anytime.
We'll have to see. I might, I am going to spec this out for what it is suggesting. Is that judicious defense? That is just... I mean, see, that's not really a particularly good trait. Just kind of, like, it's great and all, but Judgment deals additional damage when your health percentage exceeds the target's up to 2505 damage. That's cool. Shield of the Righteous expires, gain block, and deal holy damage to all attackers for 4 seconds. The Inner Light's nice. But those just aren't on the level of Bulwark of Light, Avenger's Shield granting you an absorb shield. It increases the amount of the absorb shield, but not the duration. So it's really good, and I have 3 of those. So we're getting a 24, 25, 5, let's see, 25,560 damage. So 25k absorb shield, which is not a whole ton, but it's a little bit. And I don't think that it warrants. I don't think that any of these 3 traits warrants losing that. The next one down. Incite the Pack might be decent, but it seems like it's pretty rare-ish. And then Righteous Conviction is something I wouldn't use. So I'd be taking Inner Light, Incite the Pack, Overwhelming Power, which is really good, to be fair. They want me to take the Light Speed, or Life Speed, which increases haste and avoidance. But Overwhelming Power is S tier. We don't have a Blade of Armor in there. And then Resounding Protection is alright. And then, of course, 5 extra item levels. So we would be gaining 15 item levels, essentially. But what I'm trying to go for is more the type of things that I have. I swapped out the Crown of Bloody Succession because it does have Inspiring Vanguard. I did lose one of my Bulwark of Lights, I think, on that. So I'd be reticent to lose another one. Alright, so we are going to go to Zoldazar. We're going to do that world quest here real quick. Let's see. So we want to go this way. Okay. Alright, so Voldenai is what we gotta do for the quests. We're gonna pop up here and grab this real quick. That is gonna be, I think the easiest one to get to it is gonna be from Garden of Loa.
Zandala will endure.
Garden of the Loa is that big glide down. Let's go for Nessing
I
Berries.
am
Let's try that. What I'm interested about is what the difference is for the Mog Station. Mog Station being for Final Fantasy. I was logged into it on something else as well, so. Alright, so. Let's see. There's some. Alright, yeah, this is going to be a lot better than that gliding bit. We're going to get attacked a fair bit here because I've chosen not to care. Alright. We're going through here.
Large trolls surge our gates. Ride the horns of war into battle against these savages.
Oh, okay. I could do that world quest, but it's not really gonna. See, I could. It's the Zandalari Empire, but unless it's gonna give me that extra 100, that extra 100 rep, probably not worth doing. Do 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 do.
Someone's drawing power from Azerite in this area. You need to stop him.
And that person. Where is the troll?
I'm out of range.
But I will be leveling a Zandalari Troll at some point, probably a Makar Orc. I have a Culturian Human I want to do. I have him already on my US account, but I can always recreate him on this. The key thing is going to be getting
Only they
my...
were using their power to heal Azeroth instead of hurt her. Good work, champion.
Oh, hey, we got a new appearance. It's kind of neat. We are going to go ahead and use our dealio there. I should have taken care of these while I was up there, but whatever. So using the Flightmaster's Whistle just pops us back to where we last were. Okay.
Speak
And now
your
we're going to fly up
business.
to right here so we can get this Cursed Captain's
I serve
chest. Okie doke. And we're flying on in. Do, 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 do. Da, 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 da. We're getting there. Cursed Captain's chest is right over here, I think. Yep.
I have received word that a powerful enemy
Oh, goodness.
nearby wishes for your death.
Oh, cool.
Show
He's
them
already...
no mercy.
Okay, this will be easy.
You fight like the Zandalari of
Yay!
legend. Impressive.
Well, we didn't get an upgrade, but that could be a good item. Let's go ahead and import that. Still wants us to put on the Pauldrons of Resin's Glaze Guard. I'm kind of hoping I'll get something from the what's it called? The
Yo.
we'll fly over here to we'll fly over here to Zul'jin. Zul'jan, not Zul'jin. He's dead. So I'm kind of hoping from this or from the emissary quest that I will get a piece of shoulders that are better, so that it won't keep bugging me about that. But really, I'll take a 385 anything. If it's a trinket, I'll be happy. If it's not, I'll be fine. It doesn't look like it wants me to equip either one of the... doesn't look like it wants me to equip either one of the items. So we're gonna hang on to this. And that. We're gonna get rid of these. But we do want to hang on to those. Reason being, we might get something that'll make those worthwhile equipping. Like, say, if I get a different one that that's pretty cool. That absorption when taking damage, chance to gain soul guard. That's pretty cool. But I don't know how useful that would be in practical terms. Alright, so Azurite wounds. Looks like this person's probably going to the same place. We're going to harvest this because we can. That person will probably be doing that quest when we get there. They might also zone out to another server. But the reason we want this, again, is it's giving us 200 rep. Others give 100, it gives 200. I think they realized how limited the Champions of Azeroth stuff was. And they gave the bonuses more, but they just don't respawn as much. They do respawn in just about every zone, so that is good. But we're doing the Azurite wounds healed. So if we're lucky, we'll get there right as someone has cleared out the area, and we can just go ahead and heal the wounds.
Several Azurite wounds lay exposed nearby. Use the Heart of Azeroth to mend them.
Hopefully we'll be able to just come in here and do this for a couple of them. We're going to just pop over here and up. Oh boy. Still not. Okay, here's another one. Right. And we got lucky. Someone had just cleared these out.
You did well, champion.
All
I
right.
can feel Azeroth recovering her strength, thanks to you.
And we are going to, since we don't have it, we do have an Azurite one up there. I don't know that we're going to go get that one. We are going to do the Voldenai quests, so here's what tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to go this way up through here, and we'll just, because I could fly back to the flight point and go up that way. We'll go through here, and that should get us to really close to this. And we could do that one too. And we could do that one and something else. This one would be really easy too. Tortolan Seekers. We'll start with those, but we may or may not need to do it that way. But pardon. So you'll see we got 375 for doing that quest. This is why we do. If you see at any point when you're doing world quests, if you see the Champions of Azeroth and it has the actual faction logo where it gives you the bonus, those are worth doing pretty definitively. You get 125 as opposed to 75. And that's great, but it doesn't always warrant, in terms of spending time on it, it doesn't always warrant. That was weird. It doesn't always warrant doing the going out of your way, essentially. So we're going to go ahead and go to Vathikar. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a weird climb. That's okay. And we are going to gather things along the way. Just because I do make a little bit of gold off of that. Especially when they're clustered like this. Goodness. Oh, I got 10 from that one. I think it was a large. Okay, so yeah, so we're going up here. I kind of want to go get those once I'm done with this one.
There's something very dangerous
Oh,
lurking
it's
here.
this one.
You need to kill it.
This was
before
bugged for a
it
long
kills you.
time. You can see where it is. Target it like that.
That's one less problem to worry about. Nice one.
Golden Empire Signet, that is not useful to us because of the item level. I think we also already have one that's 370, yep. Now we could just flight whistle out, but we were gonna go for that one. This is the Feeding Frenzy one. And I am kind of ignoring those things I said I was going to probably try to go get, but it's alright. Wow, there's a bunch here. It looks like a lot of it's the star moss. And I always forget that I have both herbalism and mining. Well, I should say always. I regularly forget. And so then I'll ignore some of these things. Let's see. We got stuff that's down there. Yeah, we're not gonna bother with that too much. We might, but and we got an item over here as well. This looks like anchorweed, which is much more valuable. Not a whole ton, but it's enough. And it does sell. And I am in combat, so I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, no, move that. We're just going to do this. Alright, so let's go ahead and move these things. Let's go ahead and head off in this direction now. Alright, so this feeding frenzy. I don't remember having done this one.
A pack of Brutosaurs wandered into Vol'dun and caused the Renishu to start a feeding frenzy. Cull their numbers before they escalate into a deadly swarm.
serve. Yeah, we can kill these guys pretty easily. We may not be DPS, but... Oh, that's interesting. It gave us the... Oh, well now. Now that I know that. There we go. That's all those. Interesting. Well, now that makes things easier.
Target.
Okay.
I'm out of range.
Oh, really? Those are going to run off?
It's too far.
I do like that kind of a knockback. With my charger. I do have a glyph to be the horse. Mostly because I don't really like the Paladin Kodo mount. And I am still bitter about not allowing High Mountain Tauren to be Paladins. I know it would be a little bit of a stretch with lore, but it's a bit of a stretch with lore to begin with that the Tauren themselves can be Paladins.
Thank you.
It's also
for
a stretch that the
preventing it
Draenei
from
could be
happening
Shaman, because they're primarily an arcane-driven kind of people. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense, although you did have that one Draenei Shaman in, what was it, Slave Pens. So there is some precedent for that. But I want to say that was the Draenei that initially they got it. So they set that precedent then. It didn't exist before then. And I'm not opposed to the Horde having Paladins or the Alliance having Shaman. It just would be nice if they would limit it to the player races that would make more sense. That boggles my mind. We are going to do that one. We are going to do this Azerite Empowerment up here because that'll also get us our thing. And then we're going to call it good for the night. We could go do some other ones, but I'm going to call it at that point.
You are going to suffer.
It'll be just short of 2 hours, I think. Well, it'll be a fair bit short of 2 hours. And actually, let's see. So that is a 200 rep one. And it may actually very well be worth doing. I'm not sure that the others would be, though. For instance, the Azerite Madness, it's a little bit out of the way. It is 125 rep, though. And that is my only remaining one. We're at 5,000 now. This one is going to give us another 175. The one there will give us another 3 something. So we'll get about halfway, but we aren't going to get far enough to... Oh, we're going the wrong way entirely. We aren't going to get far enough for it to mean the next... for it to give us revered with the next emissary quest. And this is one of the things that I'm frustrated with, even with the increased amount that of rep that they give you for doing them. It's still not sufficient. Now, I'm not saying to increase that even more, and I don't think that necessarily even more world quests with their name on it is worthwhile. However, there are certain bosses that it would make sense that they would want dead or eliminated or what have you. I really think that this is probably going to be down the cliff, isn't it? I think that
I sense
a bunch of the
nearby,
bosses
and something
would...
drawing
Oh
a
yeah,
great
it is
deal
down
of
here.
power from it. You need to stop it.
Yeah. Let's take some damage there. I feel like they could have made bosses in dungeons or final bosses in dungeons worth a chunk of rep. At least in terms of heroic or something like that. The reason being, you would be able to make people who are already getting gear want to do lower level dungeons and actually run people through it without charging them, which I get that if you're going to take time to run a lower level dungeon, you're not going to get anything out of requiring some gold, but I think it might cut down on the amount that they charge, which is sometimes excessive. So there we go. We got 125 and 75, and we are going to Flight Master's Whistle. Oh, I can only use it outside. What is that? All right, we're going to get rid of that. I could go around and harvest these items, but we are going to fly over here,
Take care of yourself.
and we're going to do the calligraphy quest. One of probably the most frustrating world quests there is. The reason they're so frustrating is because they require you to follow a pattern. That pattern is clearly laid out ahead of time, but then it disappears. Fair enough. But the amount that they require you to adhere to that, the margin for error, seems to be rather inconsistent. Because I've cut corners sometimes and had it be complete when enough of the rest of it is followed, it seems to be percentage based rather than a physical margin for error of how close you are. And I'm not saying that they need to expand it drastically, but a little bit of rework is desirable at this point because, well, you'll see.
Before a young Tortolin can inscribe their first scroll,
We're going to go ahead and mount up because that seems to be the only way to make it feasible.
How it's done.
Alright, so it's going to be the square, it's to there, it's to... Oh, that's going to be a fail. Yeah, that's going to be a fail.
Your line work is
How
impressing
the heck?
children.
Look at that
Look
line.
at their little eyes light up.
That doesn't make any sense. I've had deviations less than that. It is a percentage base then. It's got to be. Well, that's interesting. Eminently frustrating. Alright, so what I thought we did for the Voldenai quests. Yeah, we have. So we want to go to the hideaway. The Volpira hideaway. What's interesting is they gave us a couple of new allied races. They didn't make the Volpira playable despite there being, and I understand why those are not playable right off the bat, but it would be a cool allied race. And let's see. You don't do any big quest lines with them as the Horde, so they wouldn't make sense, but there's got to be a equivalent with the Horde somewhere. I can't really think of one, honestly. There's got to be something, though, right? Or maybe, I don't know why they included the Volpira at all. Because they're only in this one zone. I mean, there's a couple elsewhere, but they're only in this one zone. And it seems rather odd. For the Horde could get the Tortolans. That would be cool. Or again, you could not have just not used the Volpira. Because I don't know why you would go through the trouble of creating all that just for a sandy area. Having the snake people be here wouldn't make sense, but all right, what do we got? Crusher. We got a one-handed mace. Well, it's new. Doesn't seem to be an upgrade. At 380, 385. Well, that might be. So this one has versatility and critical strike. This one has mastery. So I can tell you right now what whatever we got. And it's recommend that we upgrade to it because it's 5 item levels. It's crit and mastery versus crit and versatility. That's 164 strength. This is 157. That is not that much of an upgrade. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think I'm actually going to end up using that long term, even though it's technically 5 item levels better. Now I can equip it for checks, but it doesn't push me over any edges. This one also has mastery, which is something that we need a lot more of, because our haste is really high, our crit is fairly high, and our versatility is pretty high. So I don't want to increase versatility even more, and I certainly don't want to decrease mastery. So now we've got that. That is our, let's see, oh yeah, they're at 3,500. They're moving along towards Revered. And if we go to, well, let's see. If we go here, we fly down. I think I am going to call it a little bit early tonight in terms of the stream. I started a little bit late. It just took me a little while after getting home from work to get the ball rolling on this. I think I may have figured out the audio issue, but I'm not 100%. So we'll have to see in the long term. I am going to try off screen probably tomorrow at some point, or sometime to get the rest of that transmog. I'll probably do more world quests. I'll probably transition more into doing maybe the world quests, and now that we're kind of down to the one set that's really needed, is doing the emissary quest and then switching over to doing leveling on an alt, which I'm reluctant to do because of not having the flying. However, I do have an alt that I'm trying to level from level 1 more or less for the heritage gear. I think that's going to be required, so we'll see how that goes as we move forward in that. But that's going to be it for tonight. We still have got our lovely crown. Tomorrow will be some more rest. I'll probably be doing some exploring and or farming, and talk about some of the upcoming things I'm planning on doing in that. But as always, I want to thank y'all for taking some time to watch. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Let me know if you got any suggestions or on what other games to play or to include in the rotation during the week. And I will make sure that I keep, well, hopefully I won't have a false start like I did today. If you saw the little stutter start on the stream, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I'll try to keep some more tweets going out, some more posts to the Facebook page, just to keep people on top of what I'm planning on doing upcoming, what games I'm trying to work in there, and probably a poll or two upcoming later this week to get a little bit more interaction and a little bit more of what you guys want to see. So, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all later.